Namaskaram. Today being the auspicious Anusham Day, 23rd June 2021, I am offering this Guru Paduka Panchakam. These shlokas are the instantaneous composition by Jagat Guru Sri Adi Shankara Bhagavad Pada the moment he saw his Guru Govinda Bhagavad Pada on the banks of Narmada river. Jagat Janani Ste Malayalayabhyam Aganya Punyo Daya Bhavitabhyam Traishilo Jata Niveditaabhyam Namo Namah Shri Guru Padukabhyam Vipattamastu Mavikartanabhyam Visishta Sampat Vivardhanabhyam Namajjana Sesha Viseshatabhyam Namo Namah Shri Guru Padukabhyam Samasta Dustanka Kalanka Panka Panodana Prauda Jalashayabhyam Nirashrayabhyam Nikhilashayabhyam Namo Namah Shri Guru Padukabhyam Tapatrayaditya Karaditanam Chayamayebhyam Atishitalabhyam Apanna Samrakshana Dikshitabhyam Namo Namah Shri Guru Padukabhyam Yato Giro Prapya Dhiya Samasta Kritya Nivritta Samameva Nitya Thabhyam Ajesha Chuta Bhavitabhyam Namo Namah Shri Guru Padukabhyam Ye Paduka Panchakamatarena Patanti Nityam Prayatah Prabhate Tesham Grihe Nitya Nivasa Sheela Sri Deshikendrasya Kataksha Lakshmihi. Namaskaram. We have seen till now 9 qualities that fit Sri Rama and our Mahaswami. Let us continue with the 10th one, which is Samartha, which means competent, capable of doing things which cannot be done by others. Before that, let's listen to Kumari Kirtana Krishnamurti singing Saint Tyagaraja's Kriti in Shankarabharan.
Namaskaram. Rama 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 ninnu vina Rama ninnu vina Sita Rama ninnu vina Sita Rama ninnu vina Sita Rama ninnu vina Nannu Rakshimpa Norulagana 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 Rama ninnu vina తల్లి తండ్రి అన్న తమ్ములు దైవము నీవని తల్లి తండ్రి అన్న తమ్ములు దైవము నీవని తల్లి తండ్రి అన్నదమ్ములు దైవము నీవని తల్లి తండ్రి అన్నదమ్ములు దైవము నీవని యుల్లమునను ఎన్నిడ నీను చల్లగవా భూగల్ చూచెద యుల్లమునను ఎన్నిడ నీను చల్లగవా భూగల్ చూచెద రామ నిన్ను వినా నన్ను రక్షింప నోరుల కాన రామ నిన్ను వినా పవనని భక్తి సదా పాలింసును నీ మోక్షముసగు పావనని భక్తి సదా పాలింసును నీ మోక్షముసగు పావనని భక్తి సదా పాలింసును నీ మోక్షముసగు మావరని సన్నిధిని మావరని సన్నిధిని ప్రమాణము చేసి పల్కేద మావరని సన్నిధిని ప్రమాణము చేసి పల్కేద రామ నిన్ను వినా కోరిన కోరికలో సగే శ్రీరమణ నిన్న నిశము కోరిన కోరికలో సగే శ్రీరమణ నిన్న నిశము కోరిన కోరికలో సగే శ్రీరమణ నిన్న నిశము చేరితి చరణను కొంటిని చేరితి చరణను కొంటిని చేరితి చరణను కొంటిని శ్రీ త్యాగరాజ వినుత చేరితి చరణను కొంటిని శ్రీ త్యాగరాజ వినుత రామ నిన్ను వినా నన్ను రక్షింప నోరులగాన రామ నిన్ను వినా సీతారామ నిన్ను వినా సీతారామ నిన్ను వినా
We started talking about Rama and Mahaswami being a samarth. I mean, somebody who can do things that others cannot even think about doing. And not even just thinking, they execute it. In the case of Sri Rama, so many episodes, but specifically the fact that he built a bridge across the ocean to cross and the land in the Indian subcontinent to Sri Lanka. I mean, those days called Lanka, using Vanara Sainya and having his own, team of Vanara people as the planner, architect, execution, everything. And I think produced by Sugriva Maharaja. So, he made that bridge possible, that Setu Bandhanam. We can think of that as something he used his samarth, that is his capability, his quality as a samarth, and got it done to achieve his object. Let us see in Mahaswami's case what he did. Sri Agnihotram Ramanuja Tathacharya, who was the representative of Mahaswami during the time when our Indian constitution was being drafted, says the following in his article, The Ideal Prophet of Our Age. Nothing from what I am going to say now is my own word. It is directly taken from his article and I am just reading it out. Being a sannyasi, he could not enter active politics. But in his heart of hearts, he supported national freedom in the truest sense, for he wanted not only the foreigners to go, but also the foreign outlook of our people to go. He has been wearing khadi right from the days of Gandhi's boycott of milk cloth. His Holiness rightly feared that by the time the freedom fighters succeeded in getting political independence of our country, India would have heavily lost her spiritual and religious instincts. But for his statesman-like vision, at the time of framing our constitution, the very important articles touching religious freedom and the maintenance of religious institutions, which are now happily enshrined in our great charter, could not have been there. For not less than 5 full years, he was immersed in the one thought of getting constitutional authority for religious freedom and the upkeep of religious institutions. His Holiness advised to prepare a memorandum touching religion as a fundamental right. Fundamental right. It was a time when not much thought about fundamental rights in general and still less about religious belief as a fundamental right, and that this was the birth of fundamental rights in the Indian constitution itself is not an exaggeration. It was the peak hour of India's freedom movement when nothing but politics seemed to be worth attention. As Mahaswami's representative, Tatacharya says, we met Sardar Patel and spoke to him about religious freedom. He just flared up to say that Hinduism spoke with different tongues and was not fit for survival. Tatacharya told him about the efforts of His Holiness to bring to the forefront the underlying unity among what seemed to be different tongues. Sardar Patel was highly impressed and said that he simply could not believe that there could be a Matadipati in India who did not just think in terms of his own Siddhanta, but thought of the generality. He said that something could be done towards that, what he wished, if only we really made efforts to unify the different sects of Hinduism. Then started our holy pilgrimage throughout India to bring together all the Siddhantins and make concerted efforts. With the miraculous Taposhakti of His Holiness, that is Mahaswami, we were able to meet all the religious heads of India, and for the first time in our history, we were able to bring them together under one label, the All India Mutt Conference. This coming together of religious sects gave a new strength to the plea regarding religious belief as a fundamental right and getting constitutional safeguard for religious institutions. India became independent. The Constituent Assembly was set up to frame our great charter. In the great excitement of those days, none seemed to pay any attention to religion and religious institutions as subjects to be covered by the fundamental rights of the Constitution. The Tapaswin of Kanchi was then camping at Ambi village. He called forth eminent lawyers of Madras to suggest suitable clauses concerning religion and religious institution for inclusion in the Constitution. These great lawyers prepared lengthy clauses at great pain, but only to be rejected by the advisor of the Constituent Assembly. The advisor suggested a simple clause, but His Holiness' legal knowledge was superior to that of the advisor, and so he found out over subtle defects even in that simple clause. His Holiness himself made a very important change in it. The suggestion of His Holiness was welcomed by constitutional pundits wholeheartedly, with a sense of wonder at His Holiness' astonishing legal acumen. Anyhow, political leaders were not prepared to give unchecked freedom to religion and religious institutions. So this freedom was diluted by the addition of the phrase in accordance with law. This would mean that the state could thoroughly interfere in religion and religious institutions, because this condition would bind religious institutions with whatever new law a none too religious government may bring forth in future. At His Holiness' behest, a representation was made to members to suitably amend the clause at the stage of the second reading. When the representatives met Dr. Ambedkar in this connection, we did not have any hopes because we knew of his staunch and stern views. But behold the power of Paramacharya's penance. Dr. Ambedkar told in all earnest that he was for religion and religious institutions. He declared that religion and religious institutions were split into 4 parts by the framers of the Constitution so that the restrictive phrase in accordance with law applies only to 4th part. Now in final form, Article 26 of the Constitution reads as follows: every religious denomination or any section thereof shall have the right, first, to establish and maintain institutions for religious and charitable purposes. Second, to manage its own affairs in matters of religion. Third, to own and acquire movable and immovable property. And fourth, to administer such property in accordance with law. If such a constitutional guarantee has been got for the independent running of religious institutions, it is in no small measure due to the initiative of His Holiness Sri Kanchikamukoti Paramacharya. Originally, the wording was only every religious denomination shall have the right, etc. Nobody found any discrepancy in this wording, including the august constitution makers. His Holiness alone saw that this was not enough. No Hindu thinks that he is first and foremost a Hindu. He thinks only in terms of his subsect. Example, that he is a Vaishnavite, a Saivite, a Smarta, or a Saiva Siddhantin, and so on and so forth. Similarly, no religious institution in India is running under the label of Hinduism. We only have Vaishnava, Saiva, Smarta, Saiva Siddhanta, etc., mats and monasteries. So the word religious denominations could not have constitutional application to many of these institutions. Therefore, His Holiness felt that the wording should be changed as every religious denomination or any section thereof shall have the right, etc. His supreme will was ultimately carried out. In all this, His Holiness remained behind the screen, but he was the one moving spirit, and great political leaders, eminent lawyers, distinguished parliamentarians, and experienced jurists just carried out his prophetic schemes for the maintenance of our religious belief and for the constitutional safeguard for our religious institutions. This aspect, which is not seeing the light of the day till a long time, deserves to be written in letters of gold in the history of our religion, perhaps also of our constitution making. Another incident of great importance. Again, Tathacharya is saying, originally the drafting committee has included religion and religious institutions in the state list of the constitution. When His Holiness Sri Kanchi Acharya's attention was drawn to this, he said, religion of India is one. It does not differ on the basis of states. Similarly, the religious institutions also belong to the whole of India. Therefore, this item should be transferred from the state list. Though His Holiness did not put it in words, it is possible that he also saw prophetically that someday even parties professing irreligiousness may come to power in some of the states, in which case religious institutions would have to suffer very badly. We conveyed the views of His Holiness to the members of the Constituent Assembly, but they were afraid to take up the issue because even then Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was feeling that the central list was overburdened. Anyhow, as the Taposhakti of His Holiness would have it, somebody made bold in the party meeting to refer to the amendments we wanted. And the wonder of it, no less a person than Jawaharlal Nehru himself changed his opinion on the spur of the moment and proposed that religious institutions should be included in the concurrent list. The proposal was moved all at once. This was a very great gain, but it was a great gain for Hinduism and, for that matter, any religion which has a following in India. Is it possible to be done by anybody else? Mahaswami MahaPeriyavaa alone could accomplish such a great task. Now let us see the 11th quality, Priyadarshanaha, solely delightful in appearance to everyone. People who have seen Mahaswami say that he was looking like a bundle of lotus flowers from head to toe with powerful penetrating eyes which would penetrate through the soul of the person who sees him. Many have said that they just could not take the penetrating gaze of his eyes. Sri Rama, this shloka beautifully says, Vaidehi Sagitam Surudramatale Haime Mahamandape Madhye Pushpakamasane Manimaye Veerasane Sustitam Agre Vacheti Prapanchana Sute Tattvam Munibhyah Param Vyakyantam Bharatadipi Parivritam Ramam Bhaje Shyamala. Rama was Shyamala Varna, but our Mahaswami is like a lotus, bundle of lotus flowers. That is the only slight difference, but Shyamala Varnam also is Priyadarshana. And Mahaswami was solely very, very delightful to see. Even now, when we see his even photographs, we can see the power of his eyes in it. Like especially, see this one. See, look at the eyes and look at the peaceful, face. Anyway, I can't describe how he looked, but Kavi Kannan has described beautifully as to what he felt when he saw Mahaswami in Kanchimat. So he has come up with a beautiful song, Thamarai Malarondru Kande, which means I saw a lotus flower. That song is being sung by Srimati Usha Sundaresan in Tilang Raga. Let's listen to Usha, Thamarai Malarondru Kande.
Jaya Jaya Shankara Hara Hara Shankara Jaya Jaya Shankara Pahi Mam Jaya Jaya Shankara Hara Hara Shankara Jaya Jaya Shankara Pahi Mam Chandrasekharendra Saraswati Chandrasekharendra Saraswati Chandrasekharendra Saraswati Pahi Mam Pahi Mam Pahi Mam Pahi Mam. தாமரை மலரொன்று கண்டேன் தாமரை மலரொன்று கண்டேன் ஞான தாமரை மலரொன்று கண்டேன் ஞான தாமரை மலரொன்று கண்டேன் தவமா முனிவரில் உருவினிலே ஞான தாமரை மலரொன்று கண்டேன் தவமா முனிவரில் உருவினிலே ஞான தாமரை மலரொன்று கண்டேன் தவமா முனிவரில் உருவினிலே ஞான தாமரை மலரொன்று கண்டேன் 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 பூமியில் சிறந்த புண்ணிய காஞ்சிய பூமியில் சிறந்த புண்ணிய காஞ்சிய பூமியில் சிறந்த புண்ணிய காஞ்சிய காமகோட்டி என்னும் தடாகத்தில் அனந்த தாமரை மலர் பூமியில் சிறந்த புண்ணிய காஞ்சியில் காமகோட்டி என்னும் தடாகத்தில் அலர்ந்த தாமரை மலரொன்று கண்டேன் கருணை விழிகள் கனிவுடன் நோக்கிட கரங்கள் அன்புடன் ஆசியும் நல்கிட கருணை விழிகள் கனிவுடன் நோக்கிட கரங்கள் அன்புடன் ஆசியும் நல்கிட இருபத மலர்கள் இன்னல்கள் களைந்திட இருபத மலர்கள் இன்னல்கள் களைந்திட இருபத மலர்கள் இன்னல்கள் களைந்திட திருவாய் மலரோ அருளுரை பொழிந்திட இருபத மலர்கள் இன்னல்கள் களைந்திட திருவாய் மலரோ அருளுரை பொழிந்திட தாமரை மலரொன்று கண்டேன் தாமரை மலரொன்று கண்டேன் ஞான தாமரை மலரொன்று கண்டேன் தவமா உருவினில் தவமா முனிவரின் உருவினிலே ஞான தாமரை மலரொன்று கண்டேன் ஞான தாமரை மலரொன்று கண்டேன் 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 கண்டேன்.
So we were looking at the qualities that fit into Sri Rama's personality and Mahaswami's. The next one is Atmavan, which means self-restraint. Mahaswami would be seen lost in his meditation exactly for an hour every day. Once, when he came out of the place where he was in his meditation, he was totally red in color. When they checked his darbhasana, that is the seat on which he sits, they found that it had so many red ants, and those ants had bitten him throughout that 1 hour. But MahaPeriyavaa has just sat there, lost in his meditation. There had been situations where the people around him had seen, like poisonous snake with its hood held high in front of Mahaswami when he was sitting in meditation, but he did not move a bit till his 1 hour meditation got over. Those who had been with him when he does this 1 hour meditation say, it is called Urumani Japam in Tamil, say that he did not need an alarm or anything to tell him that an hour is over. Many times he could go into that sort of samadhi sthiti while he is walking also. Once Sri Jayendra Saraswati Mahaswami, Shankaracharya, that is his Prathama Sishya, who is also referred as Puduperiyava, and another person were learning Shastras together. In those early times, the other person couldn't understand who is a Jivan Mukta. Finally, it came to MahaPeriyavaa. Periyavaa took him to a tree nearby, sat down there, and saying that there are few lakshanams, few qualities told about Jivan Mukta, like they don't have any conscious feeling of their body. But the learner couldn't understand how can somebody be not conscious of their own physical body when they are living. After giving few examples, the learner was sort of half convinced. But he couldn't say that to MahaPeriyavaa. Then they were about to leave the place. At that time, the learner noticed that Periyava's back was fully covered by white ants. He was shocked and tried to do something. Periyavaa said, அந்த ஓலையை எடுத்து லேசா தட்டு, meaning softly tap it on my back so that without hurting the white ants they will fall down. See his Jivakarunyam also. Later, the learner has understood that here is a Jivan Mukta. Throughout that discussion, white ants were crawling on his back, but he never had conscience of his body. So that is the type of Atmavan, self-restrained, person Mahaswami was. So now, let's listen to Durga Pancharatnam, a shloka composed by MahaPeriyavaa and recited by Srimati Swarnalata Tatapodi.
जय जय शंकर हर हर शंकर। ते ध्यान योगानुगत अपश्यन् त्वामेव देवीं स्वगुणैर्निगूढां त्वामेव शक्ति परमेश्वरस्य मां पाहि सर्वेश्वरी मोक्षदात्री। देवात्मशक्तिः श्रुतिवाक्यगीता महर्षिलोकस्य पुरः प्रसन्ना गुह्यः परं व्योम सदा प्रतिष्ठा मां पाहि सर्वेश्वरी मोक्षदात्री। परास्य शक्तिः विविधैव सूर्यसे श्वेताश्ववाक्योतितदेवि दुर्गे स्वाभाविकी ज्ञानबलक्रियाते मां पाहि सर्वेश्वरी मोक्षदात्री। देवात्मशब्देन शिवात्मभूता यत्कूर्मवायव्यवचो विवृत्य त्वं पाशविच्छेदकरी प्रसिद्धा मां पाहि सर्वेश्वरी मोक्षदात्री। त्वं ब्रह्म पृच्छ विविधा मयूरी ब्रह्मा प्रतिष्ठासि उपदिष्ट गीता ज्ञानस्वरूपा आत्मतया किल मां पाहि सर्वेश्वरी मोक्षदात्री। मां पाहि सर्वेश्वरी मोक्षदात्री। मां पाहि सर्वेश्वरी
The next one, the 13th quality out of the 16, is Jita Krodha. That means somebody who has conquered anger. There had been a number of situations where Mahaswami could have flared up in anger because people who call themselves as his devotees, followers, they come and prostrate to him and show respect, but they don't really listen to him. Listen to the advice that he gives, listen to the instructions he gives. Like there was a situation where, he had told his followers that they should not be taking dowry. That is a system prevalent in India those days. Even now in some states that is there. Like where the boy's family, the bridegroom's family would demand money from the bride's family for conducting the marriage. So that was too much in, especially in Brahmin community in South India those days. So MahaPeriyavaa had told his devotees not to entertain dowry, not to take or give. But many people used to just come and prostrate to him, do namaskar, but they will continue doing whatever they wanted to do. So he told, if you are taking dowry, then at least don't put my name in your invitation saying that the wedding is being conducted with my blessings. That at least you don't do. So that means for putting his name in the invitation, at least they will stop taking dowry. Once it so happened, one of his, like close devotee, like who frequently visits Periyavaa, attended a wedding and he came back. So MahaPeriyavaa said, is there anything special in the wedding? So he said, I didn't notice anything. He said, check the invitation card he had sent. Then only this man understood that he has not read the invitation fully. He brought it and read it. There, the person who had conducted the marriage is a frequent visitor, a good devotee of Kanchimat and Mahaswami, but he has not put Kanchimat's name or MahaPeriyavaa's name as somebody who is blessing the couple. Then this man was shocked and said, Periyavaa, your name is missing in the invitation. I wonder how he could do that. He said, see, at least he is truthful. He must have taken dowry. So that's why he did not put my name. Had he taken dowry and also put my name, honestly, what I could have done? Nothing. I can only tell people. So that is how, actually he could have got angry, but he didn't. He like this, he made people realize that he is not happy with that. And another situation, similar, same thing, when somebody asked him, like, why are people, especially in Brahmin community, are taking dowry? He could have said, they are not listening to my words. But what he said, my tapas is not enough to make people listen to me. If my tapas, I am a good tapasvi, that whatever I say, people would follow me, then they wouldn't have done this. But the fact that they are doing it means I am not a great tapasvi, I am not a good tapasvi. Look at his humility. This is how he controlled his anger, though he had every right to be angry with those people who come and prostrate and do all that, but then they don't really listen to him. And there are any number of situations where he told people not to take coffee tea. He was just against it. He said, that's not our tradition, that's not in our system at all. After the Britishers came, they introduced all this, and now many people have become addicted to that. And then they spend good amount of money in getting all this coffee, tea, milk, sugar and all that, and it has become a bad habit. In the morning, if you don't take coffee or tea, your day won't start. So he was telling, try to come out of such habits. That you control your mind, control your taste buds. Try to do that sort of sadhana. So that is his duty, to tell people, to advise people. So he said, but in the mutt itself, the people who are working in the mutt itself, they will quietly go secretly, they will make coffee and take. As though MahaPeriyavaa can't understand or know what's happening behind his back. He knew it. And instead of getting angry and shouting at them, very nicely, in a humorous way, he will make them understand that he does know that they are doing it. And okay, till you progress to that level of spirituality, you do whatever you want, like that. These are all small examples, but many cases, when people come and complain about their illness, there was an incident where a 90-plus-year-old man came and told him, see, I have got BP, sugar, heart problem, please bless me that I should live longer. He had already lived 90 years and now he wants MahaPeriyavaa to bless him that he should not have any sickness, he should be rid of all this BP, diabetes and all, and he should live longer. What will MahaPeriyavaa say? He was just controlling his laughter and maybe little anger, and he said a small story to make him understand that, he is talking to someone who is also old and he is, nearing his final day. for him. MahaPeriyavaa, there is no final day, but he indicated, and that sort of made that man understand that he should not be complaining about such things. And there is also another incident where a person wanted to come and join the month because he was upset that his family is not respecting him after his retirement, because everybody is thinking he is just sitting at home, so they are taking him for granted. So he nicely made him understand. I mean, these things he need not get into. And there are situations where he had told, people should come and ask me, tell me, how do I get moksha? How do I, liberate myself? How do I progress in my spirituality? But rarely one person is coming and asking me that. Most of them are coming and asking me, how will my son get married? My daughter should get married. I should get promotion. I should get transferred to this place. My sickness should go. My granddaughter should study well, or my daughter-in-law should get a child, son. All those things they come and ask me. When they come and ask such things, he could have said, look, I'm sitting here as a Mathathipati, so how do you think, I can help you in all this. But he would quietly listen, and later he had told that people think by just sharing their problems with me, they get some relief. So if I am sitting as a Mathathipati and not give even that sort of relief to them, why am I sitting here in this position? So let me listen to their problems, whatever they say. Like even if the cow in their house doesn't give a cough, they will come and report to MahaPeriyavaa. That is how people were used to coming and telling him everything. And he would patiently listen, and hundreds, thousands of situations where could have easily flared up and got angry. He is a Jitakrodha, he will control, and he won't show his, real feeling on listening to such trivial things, and he will patiently give a ear and also bless them. Hundreds of incidents like this. And at the same time, he can also get angry. That we'll see later.